Beneath the shifting shadows of the Pacific lies a forgotten world that modern science dares not decipher. For centuries, we believed our history was written, but these silent islands hold a darker, older truth. Deep within the untamed valleys of Kalinga, the soil has finally broken its hundreds of thousands of years of silence. An ancient, shattered skeleton of a massive rhinoceros emerged, bearing horrific, intentional tool cut marks from the deep past. Geological dating confirmed a terrifying reality. These bones were violently butchered over 700,000 years ago. But academic history states that intelligent humans had not yet set foot on this isolated archipelago. Who held the stone blades? What extinct, nameless species ruled these dense jungles long before our ancestors? The academic world stood frozen in an ominous silence, unable to bridge this massive abyss in time. Moving further south, into the absolute, pitch-black eternal darkness of the labyrinthine Kalau cave system. Deep within the limestone strata, tiny, anomalous, fossilized footbones disrupted the entire linear tree of evolution. The curved anatomy belonged to an entirely unknown subspecies, a phantom branch of humanity called Homo luzonensis. They possessed evolutionary traits that defied biological logic, existing simultaneously as primitive and highly advanced creatures. It is as if this island was a sealed genetic laboratory, mutating human form away from the sun. Why does the government strictly restrict deeper excavations into the absolute blackness of these subterranean chambers? What other deformed variants of our lineage are still sleeping in the unmapped depths of the earth? Leaving the silent caverns, we confront a massive, weathered volcanic rock face hidden deep within Angano. Etched into the stone are 127 ancient, deeply mysterious petroglyphs. These primitive carvings do not depict local wildlife, nor do they look like human ancestors. Instead, they reveal disturbing, oversized heads and geometric patterns that defy modern linguistic logic. Military-grade cryptographic scanners repeatedly failed, reporting total errors when attempting to translate these symbols. Is this a complex astronomical star chart, or a terrifying record of a forgotten primeval encounter? For decades, mainstream researchers have maintained an eerie silence, deliberately leaving the wall unmapped. We now ascend into the chilling, mist-covered mountain peaks where the Sagada cliffs loom. Hanging against the sheer vertical limestone walls are hundreds of ancient, heavy wooden coffins. Exposed to harsh weather for thousands of years, the unique timber refuses to decay or rot. The sheer engineering required to suspend these massive structures without modern machinery remains completely unexplained. Local folklore hints at a darker purpose, a deep-seated dread of something horrific crawling below. By hanging their dead in the sky, they hoped to hide them from an ancient entity. Why do regional authorities strictly prohibit extensive genetic testing on the remnants within these coffins? What forbidden bloodlines are they protecting from the glare of modern scientific inquiry? We now plunge deep beneath the heavy, crashing waves of Mindoro, straight into the abyss of Apo Reef. Resting in the cold, silent depths is a massive anomaly that modern geology desperately tries to ignore. Towering megalithic stone blocks are arranged in perfectly straight lines, forming a sunken, prehistoric urban grid. The geometric precision of these underwater walls completely shatters the theory of natural tectonic crustal fractures. Sedimentary analysis reveals these structures were built long before the end of the last great ice age. This means a highly organized civilization existed when mainstream history claims humans were mere primitive hunters. Is this the frozen memory of Sundaland, a legendary subcontinent swallowed by a sudden cataclysmic deluge? Why are comprehensive deep-sea archaeological funding requests for Apo Reef repeatedly and quietly denied by international bodies? The ocean guards its secret well, keeping a drowned empire locked away from the light of day. Returning to the surface, we move toward the ancient, wind-swept burial grounds of Panay Island. Deep within the undisturbed earth of Oton, excavations revealed a collection of highly disturbing human remains. Numerous ancient skulls were discovered deliberately elongated, stretched into bizarre, artificial, non-human shapes. More chillingly, the eye sockets of these dead individuals were completely sealed with thin, beaten gold sheets. This was not mere decoration, it was an intensive, terrifying ritual to permanently blind the dead. What horrific sights did these people witness that required their eyes to be entombed in gold? Mainstream biological texts offer no viable answers for these specific skull shapes discovered across Panay. Some researchers whispered about an extreme ruling caste mimicking terrifying, non-human entities from outer space. But the gold-sealed eyes point to an even darker ritual of absolute containment and fear. They were ensuring that whatever cosmic horrors these individuals saw would never be spoken again. The physical remnants remain locked away in secure archives, completely hidden from public view. We now move our gaze to the volatile heart of Batangas, where Lake Taal rests. Beneath the treacherous, acidic green water of this active volcano lies a colossal architectural nightmare. Subterranean radar pulses recently mapped a massive, perfectly circular alignment of gigantic stone megaliths. These concentric stone rings are completely buried under hundreds of feet of ancient volcanic mud. The sheer scale of this prehistoric stone monument equals the grandest megalithic structures on Earth. Yet, it sits directly inside a caldera known for its civilization-ending, catastrophic magmatic eruptions. Who would construct a massive stone temple complex inside the mouth of an active volcano? Was this massive alignment designed as a prehistoric ritual altar to pacify a destructive god? Or did it serve as an ancient geological mechanism to suppress the Earth's mantle? The extreme heat and toxic sulfuric gases prevent any physical excavation of the site. The silent stone rings of Taal sit directly atop seismic faults that have reshaped Asia over millennia. Every scientific model breaks down when calculating how a primitive civilization survived such intense volcanic fury. Ancient structural components suggest this vast circle was built to endure planet-altering tectonic upheavals. But academic institutions continue to ignore the site, hiding the data behind institutional walls of silence. What terrifying power did the ancient builders harness from the fiery, boiling mantle of the Earth? The trail of forgotten architecture now leads toward the deep, unmapped inland marshlands of Agusan. Hidden beneath the thick peat deposits rests a massive, petrified wooden structure of incredible proportions. This titanic, submerged framework predates any known maritime culture ever recorded in Southeast Asian prehistory. The geometric alignment of the petrified beams mirrors ancient celestial constellations with absolute navigational precision. Yet, mainstream history claims the inhabitants of this era lacked advanced mathematical and astronomical knowledge. The sheer weight of the fossilized timber points to an immense engineering capability lost to time. Heavy silt and acidic marsh waters have locked the site away from standard archaeological excavation methods. Is this the dark remnant of a global seafaring empire that vanished during the Great Cataclysms? Every sample retrieved from the deep muck challenges the established timeline of human maritime evolution. The academic community remains frozen in disbelief, refusing to catalog these anomalies of the ancient world. These colossal petrified beams under Agusan challenge everything we knew about early human survival and engineering. The alignment suggests a prehistoric understanding of stellar movements that modern textbooks completely deny. With each layer of sediment removed, the narrative of primitive islanders fades into a dark mystery. Instead, evidence points to an organized, collective workforce operating at a global, macroscopic scale. Yet, official historical archives refuse to record these titanic wood foundations of the deep past. We now cross the open, turbulent ocean toward the isolated, wind-swept shores of northern Samar. Exposed only during extreme low tides are immense, uniform stone steps carved straight into the continental shelf. This massive, megalithic staircase descends directly into the freezing, dark depths of the Philippine Trench. Natural geological erosion cannot produce such perfectly uniform vertical risers and flat, level stone treads. The oceanic strata date the submersion of this monumental staircase to a time before human civilization. Who carved giant pathways into the very edge of the deep ocean abyss millions of years ago? The scale of the blocks requires technology that conventional archaeology claims did not exist until recently. Deep under the heavy ocean surf, these stone monoliths remain perfectly silent and untouched. International oceanic surveys consistently bypass this sector, keeping the true bathymetric charts heavily classified. A drowned monument stands as a terrifying testament to a species erased by global tectonic shifts. The massive undersea steppes of Samar descend further into dark ocean layers where sunlight completely vanishes. No modern marine textbook can adequately explain how such sharp, 90-degree angles formed naturally over time. Every deep-sea measurements grid points to a monumental engineering project executed during the Earth's prehistory. Yet academic institutions continue to label these massive submerged structures as basic geologic anomalies. What forbidden branch of intelligent entities built pathways into the continental shelf before the oceans rose? The trail of forgotten archaeology now shifts toward the deep, remote valleys of central Mindanao. Hidden beneath ancient jungle canopy lies an immense, heavily eroded iron-rich monolithic wall structure. This towering vertical barrier contains metallurgical compositions that do not match local geological formations. The iron ore traces indicate an advanced smelting process that predates the regional Bronze Age. Yet conventional historical consensus insists early inhabitants of these islands possessed no metallurgical knowledge. The sheer physical weight of the metallic blocks indicates an incredible collective workforce lost to time. Thick, tropical vegetation and heavy silt layers have sealed the vast monument from modern scrutiny. Is this a forgotten fortress wall built to protect against a cataclysmic threat from prehistoric times? Every chemical sample scraped from the dark metal challenges the established evolutionary history of technology. The international scientific community remains completely silent, refusing to catalog these forbidden structural ruins. The massive iron-rich, monolithic barrier of Mindanao continues to challenge the framework of early regional metallurgy. Every scientific test demonstrates advanced smelting techniques centuries before global history records their initial invention. With each layer of oxidation analyzed, the theory of a simple primitive tribe completely dissolves. Instead, the physical evidence indicates a highly sophisticated architectural network spanning across the vast archipelago. Yet, official educational programs refuse to recognize these massive metallic ruins hidden under the mud. We now cross the open, rocky straits toward the isolated, windswept coastline of southern Palawan. Exposed deep within an ancient jungle ravine sits an immense, uniform stone terrace network. This towering megalithic structure rises in perfect horizontal tiers directly against the steep mountainside. Natural geological weathering cannot produce such perfectly leveled flat treads and sharp vertical rock risers. The ancient sediment deposits date the construction of these monumental steps to the late Ice Age. Who carved giant stone pathways into the very heart of the wilderness before history began? The immense scale of the blocks requires a collective engineering power that conventional science claims impossible. Deep under the heavy tropical forest canopy, these stone platforms remain perfectly silent and undisturbed. International geographic databases consistently bypass this remote sector, keeping the true topographical surveys hidden. A forgotten structural monument stands as a terrifying testament to an advanced civilization completely erased. The giant stone layers of Palawan stretch outward, fading silently beneath the deep coastal sediments. Every cross-sectional geological reading points to a highly synchronized construction event in deep prehistory. Yet academic entities maintain their strict global embargo, classifying the geometric data as standard nature. What forbidden branch of hominids carved these massive mountain paths before the ice caps dissolved? The trail of unexplained structures now points toward the dark, submerged shelf of the Sulu Sea. Resting deep within the marine trench is a colossal basalt platform spanning several miles wide. This massive underwater foundation displays a uniform grid structure completely alien to typical oceanic crusts. The sharp rectangular perimeters indicate an artificial origin that boggles the minds of modern oceanographers. Deep-sea core samples confirm the platform was fully exposed to the atmosphere during the Pliocene epoch. This places its absolute creation date long before the modern genus of humanity ever emerged. Who possessed the planetary-scale power to alter continental basements millions of years ago? The immense geological weight of these blocks suggests an advanced engineering civilization lost to time. Deep under the heavy, silent currents, the basalt grid remains completely silent and unmapped. International bathymetric institutions consistently bypass this sector, keeping the true oceanic anomalies classified. A drowned planetary monument stands as an ominous sign of a history we are forbidden to know. The vast, submerged basalt grid of the Sulu Sea forces us to question the true origins of terrestrial life. With each geological anomaly left unmapped, the official record of human evolution appears more like a fragile construct. The physical proof remains etched permanently into the bedrock, defying the intentional blindness of modern academic consensus. As long as these monolithic sites remain locked in shadow, humanity will continue to walk in ignorance. This documentary is for education only, based on real sources. Theories are not facts.